Class is in session. Battlefield 3 Matches 101, Episode 2. What matches do you want to play? In this episode, I'm going to go over a little bit more detail about what matches are out there for you to play in Battlelog's match system. What playstyles and roles are good for certain types of matches to really get an idea of what you like to play, and then what would be the best fit based on your playstyle and what you enjoy playing. And then just talking about the pros and cons involved in all this. So let's go right into the previous list that I had talked about. Talking about 4v4 Squad Rush. 4v4 Squad Rush is one of the more popular match systems right now. It is a version of Rush where it has one MCOM and it's 4 people playing. It's 2 stages, and so you can blow up 2 bombs total per round. And it's very linear in nature. It requires a lot of understanding of very specific bottlenecks in a given map. And it also requires really good aim. You have to be able to shoot guys as they come through because it's an infantry-only game mode. But it's not as fast-paced as something like Team Deathmatch as you play in pubs. Instead, it requires a lot of patience. It's about getting a pick or two and then moving up position. When you move up position, you can see how the enemy team reacts, whether they shift to a more compromised position so they can still try to maintain some defense, but it's a weakened defense. And you do this to the point where you eventually get into a good enough position where you can wipe them off the map, or at least stop them from pushing a certain area, so you can get that MCOM plant and then move forward. It's a very fun game mode. Traditionally, each round lasts at the most 5 to 6 minutes, and so an entire match may only last 12 to 15 minutes. That's the rundown for 4v4 Squad Rush. Now, if you don't want something that's linear and you want something that's a little bit more fast-paced, 5v5 Conquest Infantry only, which is no vehicles, may be good for you instead. It's played on Conquest Small maps, there's no vehicles, and it's just like playing Rare Conquest. Because most of the maps are not linear, which means that you can flank around multiple angles, you have a lot of options. You can defend, or certain flags, or you can push certain flags really hard. You can grind in certain spots, or you can be really sneaky and try to backcap them. It's a game mode that typically lasts perhaps 20 minutes total for each map, but can be a whole lot less if you have a big disparity in skill sets between teams. But again, it's infantry only. It requires a lot of infantry practice, a lot of accuracy, and a really intimate understanding of these maps from an infantry perspective. But all this being said, these are only infantry stuff. Let's talk about the non-infantry stuff, all the vehicle type of matches out there. The most popular vehicle matches out there are the Conquest Small maps. These are the matches that are played with either 8v8, 10v10, 12v12, or even 16 versus 16. And with these teams of large amount of players, you have a combined arms element. You have the tank, the jet, the helicopter, and it's sort of traditional Battlefield. It's what competitive Battlefield has been about for a long time, and it's still alive to this day. It's a bit compromised, though, in terms of number of players you're using. So there are certain maps where 8v8, teams of 8, make a lot of sense. Maps like Operation Metro, maps like Sand Crossing. But 8v8 doesn't make much sense for maps like Caspian Border or Karg Island. And it's because with all the vehicles in play, so take Karg Island for instance, you have 2 tanks, an attack helo, 2 jets. That's 5 assets. If you put 1 person on each asset, it's 5, which means you have 3 infantry on the ground. 3 infantry on the ground is not enough to take all those points and hold them. It just doesn't work out that way. That's why you need a 10v10, 12v12, or 16 versus 16 player base, because then you can put 2 people in the attack helo, you can put 2 people in the tanks or 3 people in the tanks, and have a decent infantry ensemble to battle it proper. So no matter what you choose for Conquest Small maps, you're going to only about half the maps are going to be viable, regardless of what you choose. Albeit with 8v8 Conquest and 5v5 infantry only, the new expansion pack, the close quarter maps, do provide more of an offering. But Armored Kill's coming out soon. That's going to be clearly more centered towards the larger gameplay. So there's finally the whole 8v8, 12v12 rush elements. Those are more linear in nature. You got 2 MCOMs, multiple stages, combined arms, requires a lot of a lot of coordinated pushes so that you can gain certain ground and use that ground as a point of departure to start attacking and covering more positions, so eventually you can get those MCOM bombs. Because if you've played a 32 versus 32 or Rush, which is an extreme example, you have 100 tickets, but you go through those tickets so fast because people are throwing their bodies at machine gun fire, and those tickets just count down incredibly quickly. It's really quite remarkable how fast things can go awry. So nonetheless, though, I hope this gives you a good idea of what is available and the pros and cons of each of these maps. Figure out what you like to play. If you like to play in a pub where you do nothing but team deathmatch, then maybe 5v5 Conquest Infantry only is good for you. If you like to play in Caspian Border in 64-man servers where you're only playing anti-aircraft gun or you're only playing sniper, then maybe the larger game modes like a 16 versus 16 Conquest Small would be good for you. Nonetheless, though, give some thought about what you like to play, what you really enjoy doing, and then how you would fit into this mix and what game types would be best suited for you. All that being said, I'm going to bring this to a close. And in episode 3, I'll be talking about how do you find players to play with? How do you find platoons? How do you get your friends interested? How do you get involved? So until next time.